Hi my gardening angels, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I am Jess, and today I have a really exciting video for you. We are going to propagate Haworthia succulents. And so a lot of times Haworthias are hard to propagate because a lot of people think that you can only propagate them through their babies that they send off, so their offsets. This one is a wonderful example of that. So if you look at this here, it is just jam-packed full of babies all the way around. This is a Haworthia. It has window leaves, so it kind of is clearer on the top and the light trickles in and finds the chloroplast beneath. So this one has a ton of babies, so I'll be easily able to propagate this one. I really like how it looks, so I just haven't done that yet. Now, this one is very similar. It's just a different variety, but it has actually a few babies on it, but they're all just in here tucked along this side. But they're still very small. I wouldn't separate them off yet. However, a lot of times we'll get succulents like this guy here. The one next to him has little babies down below here, but this one actually does not have any babies. Now, he's not necessarily in the pot either, but a lot of times they don't make babies right away, and it can be frustrating because a lot of other succulents you can propagate through a leaf and by just cutting it off or whatever. Now, I accidentally did this to one of my Haworthias, and so that's why I know it works. But a lot of times with normal succulents, we take a cutting from them, so we just cut off the top, and then you can plant that, and new babies will grow from that stem. And I guess I had never thought of Haworthias to be able to propagate like that, but essentially that's what I'm going to be showing you today, is how to do that for good results, because I have a few succulents in my garden where I accidentally ripped off the top and just kept the bottom to see what would happen, and then replanted the top later and they grew back. So I guess you can do that with Haworthias too. I'm going to be a little careful. I kind of want to try it on these windowsill plants. I haven't done it on these yet. I think this zebra Haworthia will act very similar to the ones that I have over here that actually worked. But we'll try it with the window ones too and see if anything happens, because if I can propagate those like that, that'd be really exciting too. So before we begin, if you have not already, go ahead and subscribe to my channel down below. You can hit that red button and give this video a big thumbs up if you think it will be helpful for you. All right, let me turn my camera around and let's get started. All right, so this is the tray I'm going to be propagating from. This is my new grow light. I will include a link down to that video below of kind of showing you the setup of this. I really like it. But here are my Haworthias that I was talking about, that I was able to propagate this way. Now, one thing I want to note is that you will want to have watered your Haworthias before doing this. I watered these maybe a week ago, and so they're really nice and plump and full. You can kind of see their leaves here are sturdy and just full of water. This will really be able to kickstart the succulent into having a healthy start to make roots, to grow new babies, whatever. Now, I brought these little pair of sewing scissors. This might be what I used to cut off the tops. Now, I also just ripped these off with my hands, so you definitely don't need any sort of special scissors to do this. So this is actually the one that I did this to. So down here is where I had ripped off the top, and this is all new growth, and then you can see that there's even other little babies forming around the base here from where that was ripped off. So it's kind of unsturdy because it's technically two halves. This was all the old and this is all the new. So I might actually be taking off him so that these little babies have some more room to grow, and that'll be another way to propagate it. You can see down here too that there are a lot of little babies on all of these succulents. They are doing just so good down here. But let's cut off some of their heads. You want to be able to find a spot in the stem where you can kind of break it off at. Now this one actually does kind of look like two, but I'm just going to see if I can't show you guys. I don't know if the lighting will pick it up, but there is kind of a little bit of stem right here. So, and that's kind of the base of this one. So this is how you can kind of propagate normally, I guess, but just kind of separating off these babies. I might use the scissors. So if we get down in there. There we go. Alrighty, so you can see that this one was already kind of separated, so this isn't really the point of the video here. Ooh, though, look, look, look. Will it focus? Okay, well, there are already 2 babies starting to grow. I don't know if I'll be able to. There it is. Look at how tiny and cute. So they were already starting to grow. Those little worm-like looking things are actually the roots. So this one already had roots. So this was a good one to cut off because it was already ready to be separate. And I can just save him, keep him out of the sun, and dry for just maybe 3 days. And then I'll just be able to put him back in soil and he will regrow. So we'll just kind of put him over here for now. And then if you take a look back at this succulent, I'm just going to clean this up and get rid of this leaf that I kind of nicked. And this is kind of where he was. I mean, these ones are doing really well, so it's kind of hard for me to show you guys this. But if we remove him at his base too, he also has a few roots, which is great. And what looks like another little baby already starting to form here. Again, we'll just set him aside. But what you'll see we're left with is this kind of bottom stem. And out of this center core, there should be new babies that start to shoot out. So let's see if I can't find one that doesn't have a split in it already. Ooh, look at this little baby. Cute. Okay. So this one looks like just one succulent. He is really shoved in this chicken wire, so he might be hard to get out. But let's see. Okay. So I'm thinking I'll take him out kind of here, and I'm just going to try to gather. Sorry, I'm moving so much, guys. I'm gonna just try to gather like a little bit of leaves that I think all kind of line up nicely. And we're just going to try to twist him off at this base here. Okay, so that's not working. Let's try the scissors. Knife would also probably work here. The goal is to try to keep these leaves all intact together. Apparently I didn't do a great job of that. Let's set this down for a second and go back and clean this up. So this leaf broke. We'll just remove him. And then there we go. So that's what I wanted to show you, is you want to try to get this nice clean cut in the stem with leaving some of these leaves already established. And then if we go over to our cutting, you want to make sure that these are all pieced together still and that they didn't all just fall apart. And then those ones had roots, but this one was a clean cut from the stem. It wasn't trying to propagate on its own already. I was just very lucky with those ones that they were. But this one, I'll just let callus over and then I'll plant it up and he'll be good to go. So this one here will be nice to harvest. We'll just remove some of these dead leaves here. He just kind of wants to come out of the soil as it is. But we will take off this little baby. And this one. And then I'll take this one down to this stem here. He might grow new babies out of these shoots. But then what we're left with is an established root system, and this one really only has one leaf, but it does have this baby still attached here. So we'll just leave him and hopefully he will do something. And then we'll come over here, and I think I'm gonna try to do the same thing with this guy where we take him from maybe here. Nice clean cut and still very established. So I'm going to come up right here. You can kind of see that there's like this purple-ish stem way down there. So that's where I'm gonna try to aim my cut. There we go. So this is what the bottom looks like. And it's kind of that red stem here. I'm going to remove this leaf that's already kind of falling off. You want to just have a little bit of space for some roots to form. So that should be plenty there. Ooh, actually, we might already have if it focus, we might already have some little nodes, these little lime green things that might turn into roots. So there is our zebra cutting. And then this is what is left of that. It's kind of a funny pink stem, but I'm just gonna take off a little bit here of ones that I might have nicked, but we'll just leave that be, and hopefully he will give us some more babies. Now I want to try that same method on one of my window haworthias. I'm not gonna do it on my larger one just because I want to keep him intact in case it doesn't work. This one I don't really mind sacrificing for the sake of the experiment, which sounds horrible, but I also think this one will be easier to access since there are less babies. I'm thinking we'll go in kind of here. That seems like the best bet. This one will be harder to get with my fingers, so I'm probably going to just use my scissors and just aim it straight down. Try to get it off. I'm stuck. Goodness. And then I'm gonna kind of go around and just Alright, so this one here I'm going to try on this windowsill haworthia. They have the little window leaves. Again, there's little babies. I don't feel bad sacrificing this one. It also seems like it'll be a little easier to access since there's not so many babies with it. So I'm just gonna take my scissors, and it kind of looks like there's already a little gap in between these leaves where I can kind of access the stem. So that's where I'm going to try to push my scissors down into. I'm gonna try to go as low and as close to the leaves that are staying as possible so that I can make sure I get a good cutting and not just demolish what I'm cutting off. Alright, so here we go. This is a little what I was afraid of, that I was going to cut up all of these leaves here. Now I'm just going to kind of leave these, and if they die, they'll turn brown and fall off. But I want to make sure that I have enough food for this haworthia, and they're kind of still connected, so they should be able to heal and produce some food for this guy. I'll just be really gentle because you can kind of see how loose his leaves are. And I did lose a leaf. I don't propagate these by leaf. I don't think they'll work, especially because this is not a good cutting. And I haven't really seen them propagated by leaf. That doesn't mean they couldn't be or won't ever be, but I just don't think it's as likely. Now this is what the inside of this one now looks like. I do still have babies, and they're still on that attached root system, so if anything, the baby should still grow. But I do kind of expect another larger main focus baby to come out of this middle here, or have these babies at least take over and grow much larger. So alrighty guys, so that is it. I did get quite a few little cuttings. of the main Haworthia. I will be planting all these up. I'm really excited. I have my whole grow shelf to fill. I have a whole nother shelf to start filling up with succulents, so I need to get on it, and this is going to be the perfect way. I love these Haworthias. They just are so prolific, and they make just such amazing little babies. I definitely recommend using these, and try this method on your Haworthia. Be really careful, just take it slow. You don't want to demolish your Haworthia, but I have had really good success with this already, and I wanted to share this with you because I don't think this is a common way to propagate Haworthias. It does kind of look like you're demolishing your succulent, but that's kind of how all succulent cuttings kind of look in the beginning. I experimented with kind of all little different kinds of these Haworthias. I hope they all work. I know for sure that this one will work, and I'm pretty positive the zebra will. We'll see about the window pane one. Make sure that when you're doing this at home that you water your succulent maybe a week in advance to make sure that all of that liquid can stay in your succulent cutting and help that new growth form, because there's not going to be any nutrients that that succulent can gain in those next few weeks because there's no root system. So make sure that your succulent is as healthy as it can be when you take that cutting, and then make sure that you don't put it in water for the next few days while this cutting is still fresh, because while this is still fresh, it can absorb water much quicker and it can rot out the succulent. So make sure that you let this callus over. It should turn brown, should get hard. Just make sure that it's all calloused before you just plop it in a pot with some water in it. Feel free to put it in dirt, but just make sure it's dry dirt, and wait that week before you proceed to water. So that is all that I have. I'm really excited with this way of propagating Haworthias. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments. I'm always willing to answer questions. Please give this video a big thumbs up because it really supports my channel when you do, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future ones. I am willing to take any future video suggestions. I want to make videos that are helpful for you guys, so please leave those down in the comments below, and have a great day. Bye.